to the show. I'm your brother, Seamus. We have too much echo on my voice.
There we go. Hey, welcome to the show. I'm your brother Seamus. I like to F around during the show. I like to experiment with how the image looks. So don't be alarmed. I might sound different. I might disappear. I might disappear like poof, poof. I might be gone. You don't need me for this show. But I'm damn sure here. I'll tell you what. This is the new rebranded, not really rebranded. This is the Brother Seamus show. It used to be called Humans for Democracy. And I wanted to take a minute to explain what the difference is. Humans for Democracy is a Facebook page that hosts this stream, and I'm just realizing that I may have posted the wrong link on this page. So let's see, are people watching this show on this page? I'm gonna put you on hold for a minute here, people. But while I'm doing that, let me turn on. I created a Fruity Loops track for the intro, and I just realized I didn't play any intro music. So let's rectify that situation. This is live from Walla Walla, Washington on April 28th, 2024. This is a bare bones. This is bare bones here, so don't get all up your own. Don't get up your own arse, as they say. I'll give you a look at the screen. I'm just dabbling here on the Fruity Loops. It's a little slow right now. Why don't we pick it up? All you do is you pop in more notes. If I can find my cursor. You pop in more notes. So this is more kick drum. Let's speed up the whole thing. Doom, 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 doom. All right, that's a little better. That's a little better for the Brother Seamus show. Welcome back to me. Welcome back to Bigfoot. That's Bigfoot for Democracy. He, she, they, them would like you to vote. And they don't just mean vote in the elections. They mean for you to vote. Put your voice out there. Let your voice be heard. You, as my cousin says, and I disagree with her on a lot of things, but she says your money is your vote. Vote with your money. And I think she's exactly right about that. One vote, one person requires that you don't have billionaires who can rig elections. And you can't claim an election was rigged without evidence. And that's what tyrants do. That's a good line. I'm going to say that one again. Let's go back to scene one. Let's do a slow fade. And then what tyrants do with some heavy echo. Heavy, echo. Heavy, echo. That's what tyrants do. That's what tyrants do. Heavy, echo. Heavy, echo. 'Cause that's what tyrants do. That's what tyrants do. Heavy, echo. That's what tyrants do. That's what tyrants do. They claim. They claim. Heavy, heavy echo, echo. They claim cheating. They offer no proof. They claim no cheating. They offer no proof. Heavy echo, heavy echo. All right. That was a good intro, people. That's pretty good. I'm a little more confident at the keys here. And for those of you who want to try this at home, it's pretty easy. It's called Fruity Loops. It's my favorite name. I'm not sure if I got it just because of its name, but you'll enjoy it. I'm using the free trial, and they let you do everything with the free trial, as I'll demonstrate here while I'm talking. You just can't save your files, so you have to start over every time, which I'm not trying to get you to do the same thing, because I want you to buy this software if you can afford it. If you can't, you can do the free trial, and it still lets you do cool stuff like this. Like, watch. This is called Beep Map. This is a synthesizer that's inside of Fruity Loops. And with just a single note on the synthesizer, watch this. There he goes. And then you can play the frequency just like that, see? And you can jump over here or let's turn off frequency, or turn it all the way down, do length. Oh, that's nice. Drums. Oh, that's pretty nice, people. That's a live demonstration of Fruity Loops with the Beep Map. It's not even a plugin, it just comes with Fruity Loops. I don't know what Fruity Loops costs new. I think it's it's probably a couple $100 at least. It's a great program. Oh, that's nice. But I don't work for them. I want to make that clear. This is not a paid product placement. Maybe it could be if you work at Fruity Loops, and if my show does well, maybe you come back and hit me up, you know what I'm saying, with a sponsorship or something like that. I like, Brother Seamus, he is not ashamed to ask for money because he's going to put it to good use, or so he claims. And I don't know why I'm talking about myself in third person, but here we are. All right, we probably should not just fart around all day long. We said hello to Bigfoot. Bigfoot wants democracy to work because Bigfoot knows the health of the planet is contingent upon that. We all know that. We just kind of keep lying. We like to be lying to ourselves about that. I did forget to mention that I wanted to mention that you can call. You can call me on this program. 509-676-6032. This is the Brother Seamus Show. We're going to talk about I think today I'm stuck on this idea today of that the anti-abortion movement or the pro-life movement, you can call it whatever you want. They're all trying to make themselves sound better. I'm not here to get too far in the weeds about anybody being morally right or morally wrong. I think those things come down to a matter of opinion. And I have many friends, family. I grew up Irish Catholic, see? And people did not believe in abortion. And I was convinced of it too. And I think over time it became apparent to me, especially after I studied psychology for all those years. It was a lot of years of psychology. I studied for a long time. And not to brag, but I'm just saying by way of explaining my views on abortion evolved into what I consider to be a more scientifically informed position, but I don't think most people would agree with my position at first. So what I'm here to offer you today is an argument that I just want you to think about it. I'm not trying to convince you. Well, I mean, of course I am in some way. But I want to kick off the conversation by saying there are lies. There are lies upon lies that are being told in the name of quote-unquote saving babies. And I know it's a loaded term, saving babies. So the first lie of the I'm just going to call them anti-abortion and pro-abortion, because I think we got to get over, we somewhat have to get over branding issues. You're either opposed to it or you agree with it, and I forgot what my other point was. So let's just call it pro and anti. Calling a fertilized egg a baby is an outright lie. I know some of you don't want to think of it that way, and you get attached. And then there's the other lie is that there's something special about the sperm entering the egg because all the genetic code is there. Okay, that's fine. All the genetic code is there. But if you cut off the tip of my pinky, oh, that didn't work. I wanted to do a slow fade there. Let's make the slow fade the transition. How about that? Let's say the slow fade is the transition. Oh, not a stinger. What is a stinger? Do you guys want to see a stinger? This is a cutting from one camera to another. This is called a stinger, but I don't know why. Boom, that's a stinger. It didn't do much, did it? I think if we slowed it down, we'd see more. Let's see. We need to get to fade. 10,000 millisecond fade. Let's see what that looks like. All right. 10,000 millisecond fade. Oh, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. This is Brother Seamus Show. I'm your Brother Seamus, 509-676-6032. I will keep talking to myself and perambulating around the studio until I get a call someday. I've been doing this for well over a few years, and I've only received calls from personal friends, which I appreciate them. I love them. They're lovely humans, and it's nice of them to call. But I hope a real person will call me. My friends are real too, but you know what I mean. All right. I like to make points. I like to begin making a point only to slide away from it and go back to playing with my Fruity Loops. Here we go, people. 20,000 millisecond fade is happening right in front of your eyes, people. Right in front of your eyes. All right, let me make my point and then you can call me and you can yell at me if you want. We can disagree without hating each other and want to kill each other. I would never, ever tell one of my friends who is opposed to abortion that, oh, you must get an abortion, or somehow that they're obligated. I wouldn't even say to my anti-abortion friends that they're wrong. I don't know who's right or who's wrong, but what I know is we're not going to solve it by hating each other. Now, I think most people, and I think that there's plenty of support for this idea. I think most people feel like it's more something that should be decided between a woman and her doctor, because miscarriages happen. Women who want babies lose them all the time. And it can be very sad for them, but we have to start to think about the idea that we're going to force women to give birth. You're going to force women, and this is a bit hyperbolic, but I think it's a good way to think of it. You're going to send them to pregnancy prison. I'm going to put that up on the board here for the class. Where should I put that? Let me look over at this camera. This camera's still not properly situated. So, let's see. Can we get text on the screen? What does the text on the screen say right now? I don't know. It says something that I can't read with my sunglasses on. You're making women go to pregnancy prison. That's the ultimate outcome. If you decide, and keep in mind, I know some of you are Trumpers. I know that Trump's trying to back away from it now, but he gave the evangelicals the power to do this. That's how he got into office. He kind of made a deal with them, and then he made good on his deal. I'll give him credit. He's a man of his word in that way. He put 3 Supreme Court justices who are really, really opposed to abortion under almost any circumstances. He put them on there. That was his doing. So even if you love Trump, you got to accept the fact that if women are going to be mistreated and oppressed in this way, that your man Donnie D did it. Okay, now don't get mad at me. I'm just like a referee. I'm just calling it like I see it. Sorry, I got a little carried away there. So, Humans for Democracy is the host of my show, but that text is confusing. So I'm going to put what we were just talking about up on the screen there. What were we just talking about? Pregnancy prison. I think it's a good hashtag. It's real negative, and I try to go more toward positive stuff. But sometimes a good hashtag is a good hashtag. Those colors are all wrong. So pregnancy prison is the ultimate outcome of where currently the abortion legislation is going, because without going too far into the weeds, what's happened psychologically is the quote-unquote Republican Party has been pulled so far to the right that it's lost. Is that right? Pregnancy prison. Okay, I spelled it right. It's lost its way, basically. The Republican Party is not the Republican Party anymore. It's the party that wants to strip women of having any control over when, where, and how they decide to get an abortion. And even if you're a man and you think this doesn't affect you, part of what I want to sell you on, the idea I want to sell you on, is that it does affect you, because it affects people you care about. It does affect you because what if you impregnate another human with your seed? What if you impregnate another human with your seed, bro? That's what I'm getting at. If you're an impregnator, you might like to have an option, assuming she agrees with you, which, by the way, requires diplomacy, right? You might want and need the option to at least weigh in on the decision. But if there is no decision to be had, guess what? You're living in a tyrannical society. Now, we get all caught up in democracy versus fascism versus this versus that. If you're a person who hates politics, if you're a person that hates politics, it's one of the most consequential elections in history, but it's also one of the most simple. Do you want some sort of, we'll call it democracy, even though it's a sloppy word, some sort of constitutional republic where you vote for your leaders, where every one person gets one vote? Do you want that? Or do you want a tyrant? So if you're not into politics, you may hate Joe Biden. You may think that he endorses the genocide in Gaza, and he does not. The thing you got to understand about Joe, I like to call him Sleepy Joe myself because I think it's a catchy name. The thing about Sleepy Joe is and I think Hillary would have done this too, he's a party man. So if the protests against the genocide in Gaza are effective, if you want them to be effective, you have to convince the middle group. And then when the middle group is convinced, Joe Biden will do whatever the middle wants him to do. He's a party man, all right? You can hate him if you want, but if you vote for the other guy, whose name I'm sick of saying it, if you vote for the tyrant, the king, the want to be king, and he's said this himself, that he wants to be king, I know, for a day, and they'll say it's a joke, but it's not a joke. And even if you love him, you know he's not joking. He's gonna pull out all the stops and just try to go right after anybody that's ever humiliated him. And I think his favorite target would be Barack Obama, because Obama told some wicked-ass jokes at the correspondents' dinner. That's worth watching, even if you're not into politics. And again, I'm not sponsored by the the correspondents' dinner, although I wouldn't mind being. So where was I? The tyrant said about Gaza, see, this election, you get to vote for a party man who supports free and fair democracy, or you get a tyrant who's basically promising his people he's going to tear it all down. Now, you can vote for the tyrant, but when asked about Gaza, he said Netanyahu should finish it. So how do you want to go with that guy? Because, I know a lot of you you're like, Biden's terrible and he should be crucified. And it's like, well, guess what? He's a party man. If you want, and I think you're right. I think those students who are protesting should keep on protesting, but civil disobedience versus violence, right? Keep it on the civil disobedience side. You all know what I'm talking about. And you will get infiltrated by people who want to be violent. You gotta tamp that down immediately. If you disavow violence, then anytime the cops beat you up, and they are already beating you up, and they'll keep beating you up because they feel justified and they're angry. And you've got the tyrant out there, and you've got people like Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas telling you should physically assault these students, these protesters. Think about that. A sitting senator is encouraging Americans to commit acts of violence against other Americans with whom they simply disagree about Gaza or about Israel. By the way, if you're engaging in protests against what's happening in Gaza, go for the money. I see you're going for the money now. That's smart. Go for the money. And you better tamp down anti-Semitic bullshit. That'll invalidate your whole movement. If you're pro-Gaza and you're anti-Semitic, and they're going to try to get you on that. Who are they? It's a cabal. No, your enemies are going to look for anything you do wrong. So if you're out there in the name of Gaza and you're shouting anti-Semitic chants, what the fuck? What the fuck, bros and sisters? You're gonna chant anti-Semitic stuff? Come on. I'm not saying you did. You probably did. Some people probably did. The point is, it's a tyrant versus a regular guy. Sleepy Joe versus the tyrant. Words like fascism, socialism, Marxism, forget the isms. It's a bunch of BS to distract you. Most of what's happening right now is they're real good at distracting you on Facebook with all kinds of, incidents and accidents and accusations and rumors, and it's very hard to sort that out, which brings us to today's lesson. And we'll get back to the topic of the lies that the anti-abortion people say. One is that it's a baby. It's not a baby. It's a human in development. It's an undeveloped human is maybe a way to say it. So then it raises the question of where is that line? Where is the line between there's a conscious entity there that knows what's going on? We'll answer that question in the next hour. It might surprise you. And this part won't surprise you. There's not a lot known about exactly when the light switches come on, when you become you. If you've ever seen the movie Sonny Boy, written, directed, and performed by David Carradine, A, it's an oddity that anyone that likes David Carradine should see, and B, there's a moment in the film where this feral boy is finally let out of his cage, and he's like 18 or something, and he looks in the mirror. He just ate a guy, and he's covered in blood, and he's shirtless, and he looks in the mirror, and he's like, he doesn't say this, but he realizes he's a person because he's never seen himself before. He's like, I'm me. That's a great it's a great moment. Not a great film, but some really good acting. Brad Dourif's in it, if you like Brad Dourif. He's a good fella. He seems like a good fellow to me. I don't actually know him, though, so don't quote me on that. What were we talking about? Pregnancy prison. That's what you got to think about in this election. The tyrant, even though he'll deny it, the tyrant is the reason that many states are not only threatening the women, they're threatening the doctors. Do you really want to live in a world where the government threatens doctors to fight over a fertilized egg? That's what's happening, people. They're fighting over a fertilized egg. When does that egg become a person is the question that I'm posing here today. And I do not believe that the sperm entering the egg is the magic moment. It bestows the genetic code, so it's a step, but it's not a fully developed human. There's no brain whatsoever. Oh, the other lie, one of the other lies that the anti-abortion movement like to say that there's a heartbeat at whatever, 6 weeks, let's say. And it's like, well, that's half truth. It's a pulse. There's a moment where the blood starts pulsing and it's got genetic code, but it has no brain. It's not even a form, doesn't even have the form of a human yet. Not to mention the fact that a lot of women don't have any idea if they're pregnant or not. Why would they think that? They're not going to do a pregnancy test every time they have sex. That's ridiculous. We'll cover birth control on another show, but there is more to say about that. Yeah, the heartbeat thing is a lie. It's a pulse, and your heart is a pump. Your heart's a muscle that pumps blood, so the blood can get oxygenated, right? You gotta oxygenate. That's a funny word. Let's go with it. You gotta oxygenate your blood. Oxygenate your blood. You oxygenate your blood. Okay, that is enough of that. It's not a heart isn't a magical organ. It's just a pump. So even the presence of an actual heartbeat, if there was one, that doesn't mean there's conscious awareness. When does the fetus actually become? When does the undeveloped human cross the line? Genetic code is interesting because then basically as soon as the sperm enters the egg, all the code is there. But it's a seed. It's a seed of a human. I think it's a good way to think of it. It's a seed that's about to grow. It's got everything it needs. Genetic code's not that special. If you chop off the tip of my pinky right here, right there, let me get it right up close. If you cut that off, that's got all my DNA in it. It doesn't make the severed tip of my pinky a person, does it? I don't think so. The tip of my pinky, I'm going to do another take because I wanted to cue the music when I did my point. The tip of my pinky contains all the genetic code that I have. Does that make the tip of my pinky a person? No, 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 it doesn't. No, 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 it doesn't. If you think that anyone's ever going to force you to have an abortion, I can tell you this. There's no way in hell. There's not a single person on the left that would ever try to force you to get an abortion because they know what that would do to the abortion movement. Why you want to put any government person of any party between you and your doctor? To me, that's the crazy idea that folks who, this is why I say the Republican Party is not really the Republican Party. They don't want government in your decision making, supposedly. Although they sure did want to regulate whether gay people could get married or not. They really like regulating that. But are we going to put women in pregnancy prison? And you know who's scared, I think, or worried? Emergency room doctors. They already have enough to deal with. I don't know if anybody out there works in an emergency room in any capacity. I won't name names, but I have some close people, we'll call them, who work in emergency rooms. People with whom I'm close who work in emergency rooms. If you work in an emergency room, call in. Let me know if I'm even close to accurate. What I imagine you would be worried about is a woman comes in and she's bleeding. And she's, I don't know how many months pregnant. Can you assist her without, if you're in a state that has one of these harsh laws, I would think ER doctors would be just totally stuck because they're supposed to do no harm. And if you leave a woman untreated who's bleeding out, maybe you're doing harm. I think they feel like they're doing harm. But if they assist, some stranger, doesn't even have to be a family member, could say, this doctor caused an abortion. Holy shit, man. So you want ER doctors to be terrified. That's what I see in these laws, only because I know the world of ER people. They need to be able, your doctor, whether it's your OBGYN or an ER doc, they need to be able to treat you in the way that you and they decide is the best for you. And if you have a seedling, it's not a baby, it's a seedling. It's not a tree. It's not a full-grown version of the seed. Apple seeds aren't apples. There's a point where they become an apple, and there's some gray area there. A lot of neurologists would say the part of your brain, and if you're a neurologist or a neuropsychologist, please put some comments down there. Please subscribe too. I know I hate when people ask you to subscribe, but please, I'm on my knees right here. Look, please subscribe. I'm your brother Seamus. click on that subscribe key, and you'll be paid tenfold in the fake heaven that I make up and define later on in my career. I don't have a fully developed idea of heaven yet, so be patient. If you are a neurologist or a cognitive physiologist or a cranial sacral shamanologist, the brain does not have the ability for conscious thought until I think at least 6 months in utero, and that's just the beginning of the physical structure of your brain, the part of your brain, and I'm no expert, but it's the part of your brain that allows you to be sentient, to be aware of yourself, to have some idea that you're a thing, that you're an entity, you're a being. And the tiny little seed that's growing into the sapling of a human being has no awareness. They don't have the structure. They don't have the parts. All right? It's like saying, here's an internal combustion engine, but we haven't put in the pistons and the actual motor block itself. It's not, there's no car there yet. There's no engine there yet because you don't have any pistons. There's nowhere to blow up the gas to make the car work. There's the part of the brain that you need to have to be self-aware isn't there until at least 6 months. And some neurologists say kids aren't really self-aware until they're a few months out of the womb. Now, don't get carried away, don't get crazy and think I'm saying that you can, once they're born, right? That's the easiest line. But there is probably a point in utero where that sapling has turned into mostly a small tree, right? And that's where the decision is tough. And that's why a woman and her doctor, a woman and her family, a woman and her friends, a woman and her doula can talk about what if something goes wrong? What if the fetus, what if the tiny seed of a person has grown and you're in month number 6? But there are grave problems with the fetus, which happens all the time, people. That's not an uncommon occurrence. Every one of you knows somebody who's probably gone through that. Doesn't that mother have a right to talk to her best friends and her family about what to do and to make that decision? Or must her, this is the other thing about the anti-abortion people, they're happy to endanger the mother's life. If you have doctors who are afraid to see you in the emergency room, we're in trouble, people. We're in big trouble. I don't want to freak you out or anything, but yeah, geez. I think what really gets me is, not being a woman. I think it is a disadvantage when thinking about this topic in many ways, but in some ways it's like, man, if somebody was doing something to my body against my will, I think you can use that to gain empathy. It's not that hard to have empathy for someone being forced into a pregnancy that they don't want. Either they can't handle it emotionally, psychologically, financially, or they're just not ready yet, or it was the result of trauma. Whatever the case, now you put the state in there. You put the state between a woman and her doctor, a woman and her mother, a woman and her father, a woman and the people she trusts, and which this is intentional, by the way. Those of you who vote for the tyrant, they want you to be afraid. So they made doctors afraid. It worked. They passed laws that scared doctors, and it worked. It worked. They're winning in this fight. And if you give them the White House, oh, I mean, I don't want to tell you people what to do, but tyrants do what they do, you know? If a tyrant is going to win, and they are going to force women into pregnancy prison, I hope that you will, I hope you'll think twice about going down that road. Because a tyrant is, even if you think he's on your side, he's only on your side until you have something he wants, and then he just takes it from you. Because you're going to give him all the power. That's why, you know, for those who are not into, if you're not into politics, the easiest way to think about this 2024 election, regardless of how you feel about either person personally, one side is tyranny, the other side is self-rule. It's a good way to put it. A little bit of self-rule. I always like some self-rule. I don't know about y'all, but you know, it's kind of makes me feel good. One person, one vote, and all that. Of course, that's not true in the Senate. In the Senate, we have you get 2 senators regardless of how big your state is. That's a bit of a, what do you call that, folks? A ripoff. That's not one person, one vote. If you're in Wyoming, and I'm not picking on Wyoming, they only have, I don't even remember, 500,000 people in Wyoming. And then Texas, California, and they both get 2 senators. Those states have 20, 40, 80 million. I don't even know. That's not right. They don't have 80 million. Somebody who knows the populations should call in 509-676-6032. I'm your brother Seamus. I am a psychologist, and I study, I'm in private practice, but I study cults, people, and I'm not picking on you. If you love the tyrant, I'm not picking on you. Tyrants are very good at being loved. That's their gift. They get you to love them, and then you'll vote for anything, including tax cuts for the wealthy. Why do billionaires need more money? If you have enough money now, you can effectively buy your way into Congress. And it's because of social media, folks. And this is today's public service announcement. I'm going to turn off the music to make it more dramatic. And I'm looking for, okay, this is pretty good. This will work. This is today's message being brought to you by, sometimes I call this character the Godhead Baby. And I like to think of this character as having all kinds of wisdom. And today's wisdom is, dun, 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 dun. Facebook is the greatest lie machine ever. I hope you will call and talk to us about why you agree or disagree with that. That's my position, people. That's kind of the whole game here for me, is I want you to keep thinking about the idea that Facebook is poisoning, like the tyrant there on the right likes to say that immigrants are poisoning the blood of America. He did say that. If you don't follow politics, I'll say his name just to be clear. Mr. Trump said that immigrants are poisoning the blood of America. The reason his message works is because Facebook knows whether you're going to believe that nonsense or not. First of all, it is nonsense. Immigrants make great Americans. They always have. Crime rates are lower in immigrant cities. Explain that one, people. But he doesn't want you to know that. He needs you to hate the immigrants. And my point is, he's doing it through social media. I believe when the smoke clears, something's gone crazy in my studio here. It might be that I keep clicking the switcher too fast. You're going to find out, I think. And Trump was an early adopter of Facebook ads and whatnot, but Facebook has so much information about us. They know what you think. I'm probably reaching you on Facebook right now. I hope I am. If not, we'll work on that. But I'm using Facebook to let you know that I think Facebook is destroying us. I really do. I'm not bragging, but I've been a psychologist for a long time. I've never seen what this social media can do, man. This is crazy. They have more power than a team of psychologists studying you around the clock. And you know why Facebook knows more about you than anyone? Because you told them. You told them all about it. You tell them, and you especially help them when you're angry. They love it when you're angry. They really do. They love it when you're angry. They love it when you're angry. They really, really do. Really do. When you get angry, that gives them a lot of valuable information. What you're telling them when you get angry is, hey, Facebook, you just triggered my amygdala. The amygdala is a tiny little piece of your brain. And I'm no neurologist, but the urologist will tell you or neuropsychologist will tell you it's your threat assessment center. And Facebook, when you're scared, ping, they pinged your amygdala. The whistleblower, Frances Hagen, I believe is how you pronounce her name, reported while whistleblowing that Facebook values an angry face. If you see a post that has an article that says, Joe Biden's going to let all the immigrants come in and steal all your furniture. If you see that, that means, or if that makes you angry and you click on the angry face, they're like, okay. And when they weight it, right? The angry face is worth 4 points. The thumbs up is only worth 1 point. They love it when you're angry. They really love it. And the reason is they can't predict. They can't predict what you're gonna do, what you're gonna say, where you're gonna shop, and who are you gonna vote for. So you're giving them a ton of power. I would say if a lot of people should just get off of Facebook, and if you're on it, what I'd recommend as a psychologist, this is free, and this is not therapy. This is just a suggestion. Don't comment on anything. Don't like anything. Don't dislike anything. Don't give them any information. They are still tracking you and how long you spend reading certain articles. But what the tyrants do, and this is everyone from Vladimir Putin to Kim Jong-un to Xi Jinping to Modi, is they figure out your vulnerability and then they scare you. Trump mostly, I don't know how the Mexicans feel about it, but Trump, his favorite boogeyman and woman are the Mexicans or the invaders in the southern border, which we all know are just families looking for work, looking for shelter. How many truckloads of arms have these invaders brought up? Oh, that's right, 0, because they're not invaders. But what they do with Facebook is they can very, very easily figure out if you're going to believe their lies. So what happens to Mr. Tyrant wannabe president is he says, well, these people really listen to me over here. And then over here, they don't listen to me at all. So I'm not even going to send anything over here. Facebook allows you direct targeting based on how vulnerable you are. And human beings do get brainwashed. It's a weird idea, but we do, especially if we don't slow down and take a breath. The way you figure your way out of this is you slow down. Right? And take a breath. Boy, that's too much. I was trying to be dramatic there. All right, let's turn this off. The thing to do is to slow down. Take a breath. The number one way they're tricking you is by getting you to make complicated judgments while you're upset. If you feel threatened, you're not going to be able to engage your creative mind. Because if your amygdala thinks you're under threat by an invasion, it's going to shut down your creative thinking and problem solving. Do you want to really decide something so critical based on a knee-jerk emotional reaction? Or do you want to calm down? I'd say calm down. You know, I don't want to boss you around or nothing. I don't want to boss you around, but if you calm down, you'll make a better decision. The other way that you get tricked by social media, it's not just Facebook, but Facebook probably has the most dangerous algorithm, is that you never hear the other side. Your feed, your social media feed gets clogged up. And some of the people doing that are professionals. They're professional bots and they're actors in other countries, and they're trying to keep you nice and angry. So when Tom Cotton says you should go attack those dirty, rotten protesters who also happen to be citizens of the United States, who also happen to be your neighbors, who also happen to be the children of your neighbors, you go attack them because they're the other, right? They need you to hate somebody. It gets you upset because you're scared of them. And they'll use any chaos to tell you got to blame whoever it is, the immigrants, the Muslims, the people in Gaza. I think that's pretty much all I have for you today. Facebook is the most dangerous lie machine invented, and did you know you can't really sue them right now? Facebook and other social media companies are almost completely immune to prosecution, despite the fact that we have over a century, I believe, of product liability law that applies. Facebook is harming people constantly. It's used by malicious actors to harm people, to intentionally get them to believe falsehoods. It's got to be one of the most dangerous things we've ever invented, and yet here I am on Facebook talking to you. Here I am on Facebook denouncing Facebook. Here I am. Oh, I lost the beat. Hang on. Here I am on Facebook. Here I am denouncing Facebook. On Facebook. On Facebook. Denounce on Facebook. Facebook. Denounce Facebook. On Facebook. On Facebook. On Facebook. Denounce Facebook. On Facebook. On Facebook. All right, that's pretty good. That's a good starter. That's a good starter loop. Let's see, what did I forget today? Oh, I need to, if you want to support us, and I hope you know, even if you are totally transfixed by Mr. Trump, even if you're totally being tricked into voting for tyranny, I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to argue. I don't even really want to debate with you. I just want to talk to you about being a human. We're sponsored by Humans for Democracy. You can go to humansfordemocracy.com. Let me take you there right now. You can follow Humans for Democracy on Facebook. That's pretty much where we exist and are active. But we do have a website. Looks just like this. Humansfordemocracy.org. Funny story, I did purchase the domain facebookiskillingus.org, but they won't let me. None of the internet providers will allow me to use it. So if you type it in, it will redirect you to Humans for Democracy. We talk a lot about disinformation and how counter speech. This show is an attempt at counter speech. I'm not trying to deny you your right to make up your own mind. I just want to make sure you've heard both sides of the argument. So if you come here and you want to donate directly, you can do that. You click on that. It'll take you to Humans for Democracy. If I figure out how to do this more appropriately, we'll have it so that you can donate to particular ad campaigns. Right now, we have a couple ad campaigns going on, which if you follow us on Facebook, you'll see those little blips. Maybe I'll play one for you before I go. But if you really want something cool and you want to support us, go to bonfire.com / let me go to our main page. Humans for Democracy, bonfire.com store. You go to bonfire.com and you say /store / Humans for Democracy. That's a lot to remember. Or just go to your browser and type in Humans for Democracy Bonfire Store. You can buy Immigrants Make Great American t-shirts in all kind of colors. Look at these colors. Let's go into here. And I don't really understand t-shirt technology, like all the different shapes and styles of t-shirts, but you can get it in red, you can get it in blue, you can get it in navy, and there are different cuts, right? See, this is where I don't know about the cuts. We got a premium unisex. I think the prices are reasonable. Tri-blend. We got a unisex tee. Then we also have some anti-racist shirts. But there are so many styles to these Immigrants Make Great Americans. And it's good for us. It's good for our psyche, people. It is good for our psyche. Where are you? There you are. It's good for our psyche to remember they're just like us. Immigrants are just human beings just like us. They want the same things you want. They want their family to be safe. They want some shelter. They want some food. They want a chance to go to school or get educated in some form or fashion and to just live their damn lives. We're all immigrants here. Unless you're indigenous, you came over on some kind of boat. It may not have been something you chose either. All right, so here, women's flowy cropped tee. I don't know what that is, but they said it was available, and people told me it's a good idea. So there's your cropped tee. I think sometimes they don't have all the colors available. This one, I think navy might be. Oh, dark gray looks good too, though. Black's always a good choice. Athletic heather. I don't know. You tell me. Oh, I was showing you the wrong screen. Here's the t-shirt I was just talking about. If I can cut. There we are. So it's a beautiful logo I created myself. Immigrants Make Great Americans. Show your support. Be an ally. Be an active ally. Don't just be tolerant. Take it a step further. That's what we do on the Brother Seamus Show. We talk about taking it a step further. Show some real support in your own way. You don't have to do everything. It's not your job to do everything. But you can certainly play the synthesizer with me over on the Fruity Loops. Oh yeah, that's nice. This has been the Brother Seamus Show. I'm your brother Seamus, reminding you that immigrants make great Americans. And what would we do without immigrants? Does anybody know? Dave Chappelle already solved this riddle. A lot of people have solved this riddle. How much do you think your strawberries or your fruit or your vegetables in general are going to cost if you start deporting all the immigrants? And here's a question I always have. How come we're always arresting the immigrants and not arresting the people that hire them? You know why? Because they're helping us. The reason that food is at a reasonable price is because some immigrant picked it for you at a wage that was less than what most American workers would accept. That's why they're still here, and that's why if you vote for the tyrant, and he said it himself, you don't have to go looking for who said this. If you look at, I'll say his name again, if you look at Mr. Trump's policies that he's proposing, in his own words, he said, I'm going to build encampments or he didn't say concentration camps, but he kind of alluded to it, and it's going to be the great deportation of all the illegal people. First of all, that's impossible. Second of all, do you have any idea how much your food will cost if that actually happens? That's the kind of argument that appeals to you when you're upset and you're afraid. But it's a nonsense argument because Mr. Trump himself has employed immigrants. He has. And so what? They're looking for work. It's not really that fair to them, but they're not the enemy. They're coming here to work. It strengthens our economy. How much are you willing to pay for a little basket of strawberries? Well, if an American picks the strawberries, and I'm not saying people shouldn't be given a fair wage, but I want you to think about what you're voting for. You're voting for 3 times the cost of strawberries. We're still dealing with pandemic inflation. By the way, let me just say this because there's a lot of lies out there. If you look at the raw data, the U.S. recovered just as fast, if not faster, than most modern nations from the economic downturn that was inflicted by COVID. It happened all over the world. Many people are still recovering. It's not a magical recovery. But when you give people a little assistance, guess what happens? We get better. Just like when they're sick. If somebody's sick, you give them a little assistance. You don't put them in concentration camps. All right, that's the Brother Seamus show for today. Nobody called. That does not surprise me. I hope you come back and join us in the future. I'll be doing more shows. I try to go on at least once or twice a week, but I can't. I'm not promising anybody anything, except that I will be playing with my new synthesizer. Follow us on Facebook. Let me give you a look-see at that Facebook page. Please buy some t-shirts from bonfire.com /store/Humans for Democracy. Pretty cool. Come see us on Facebook. I will post if I don't like going live on Facebook. Their live controls, it kind of locks you in. So I do it live on YouTube. It's a little easier to share. Let me know your thoughts on streaming. Abortion does save women. It's just a fact, people. And we're not trying to force abortion on anyone. If you disagree with abortion, if you think it's wrong, we will protect your right to believe that. All we're asking is that you don't get between a woman and her doctor. Don't get between a pregnant person and anyone that's providing her care. She's a fully grown person already. Let's protect her. And we'll do what we can for the unborn, for the sapling, for the human sapling. We'll do what we can. All right, how'd we do today? We got 0 viewers. Looks like we're running. Can't tell how long we've been on here. That's okay. I'm sure it exists. I'm sure that... Oh, there it is. 103. About an hour. That's good. Give us a call. 509-676-6032. You can call between shows. That's a dedicated line. The Brother Seamus hotline. Give us a call. And if you leave a really good message, I'll play it during the show. Like this one here. Let's see if this one is still good. All right, I don't think I know this one, but let's hear it.
Hey, there's Spoonstein, French Copter. I saw some on that Facebooker.
Yeah.
You got some kind of spam burger? I'd like to send a telegraph with some spam burger.
Well,
you can contact me directly at 5.
At 5.
2.
Okay, 552.
Hey, there.
552. If somebody wants to call that gentleman at 552, let him know that we don't really do spam burger here. We're a little bit afraid of spam burger. What with the Change Health hacking that just occurred, the ransomware. We're trying to stay away from ransomware, people. But give us a call. Give us a happy little call on your happy little phone. And how about this? I just have a simple idea to end on. Let's never, ever, ever send any pregnant human. Let's never, ever send any pregnant human to pregnancy prison. It's a horrible violation of human rights, people. It's a horrible, horrible violation of human rights. And even if abortion is not right for you, please keep in mind that taking away anybody's bodily freedom is a horrific thing that only a tyrant would do. So in November, it's simple. Vote for the tyrant. Or vote for Sleepy Joe. You may hate him, but he's better than the tyrant, isn't he? I like Sleepy Joe. I think he's a good man. I think he supports what's happening. I think he supports the protests in Gaza. He supports your right to protest. He does not support the police beating you up. He wants you to make your voice heard. He wants you to convince the middle so that he can have political cover to do what he needs to do. Yes, I know. You want him to be more brave than that. I get it. But he's a company man. He's waiting for the middle to tell him it's okay. And that's smart politics. All right, that's enough of that. I hope you enjoyed my beats. Let's do a little snare to take it out. Oh yeah. Give us a call next time. You missed your chance this time. Brother Seamus Show. Signing off. That snare is a little too high, isn't it? What should we go out with? A little bit of a do. Facebook knows. Facebook knows. Too much of